our text response criteria. So, first off, we need to showcase our knowledge and understanding of the text. This isn't my ideas, guys. This is Vika. This is what Vika wants you to be able to show through your writing. So it needs to be really evident that you've read the text, but not only read the text, but really closely read and analyzed the text, and you have a high level of understanding. Annotation comes in a lot of handy here, guys, not forcing yourself to reread your novel, but annotating passages, finding important evidence, finding unique evidence to prove your points is a key little tip to excelling in English. All of our evidence and quotes have to be super relevant to our analysis. We want a range of different quotes featuring structural features and language devices, so we can add those terms in and show a really complex level of understanding. Quotes from minor characters thrown in every here and there that are very relevant. And it's a process of just becoming very familiar and intimate with your text. Um, Exploration of a text's ideas and issues. You need to be able to show that you understand the author's views, values, and intent in depth. You can obtain a lot of really valuable ideas from your class discussions about your text, but also brainstorm yourself, do little analysis exercise and find out what your views on the text are. Go online, read critics' analyses of your text, and obtain information and ideas from there. But what you really need to do is you want to have strong positions that you're certain of when it comes to all the text ideas and issues. If you get a prompt about ambition, you have an idea about if you think ambition is good or bad in the text and what's the main message the author is trying to say, for example. Having those really good, solid ideas are really important. We need to be able to understand the thematic concerns, dilemmas, and general zeitgeist, so the general mood in the society of the text that the text is set in, of the text in depth. Having good understanding of context crucial. We know our views and values analysis should feature contextual ideas, should take context into account. Um, Again, very important and might require some additional investigation if you guys are not confident in those things. Doing practice for this in year 11, because in year 12 you will have to showcase the same skills but to a higher standard. So it's of course that goes to show that it's really important we work hard this year, so it doesn't become something daunting next year. Developing a coherent analysis in response to the topic. Essentially, our whole essay is just answering the prompt's primary message, question, or statement we are answering to, saying, this is how much I agree, or this is how much I disagree with the idea, and here's what I think. So, our contention or our interpretation should be a direct response to the prompt. And then our topic sentences or our arguments should relate back to our contention, as well as, again, all of them addressing the prompt. These are kind of our mini arguments arising from our contention. It's not anything harder than that, guys. If you've ever struggled, hopefully that explanation helps you put it all together. But we will be looking at contentions and essay structure for text response much more in depthly. Control and effectiveness of language use. This is a section you are assessed on for every single essay and you will be assessed on in your exam. So your writing has to flow and make sense. We want variations in sentence structures and sentence lengths. We don't want clunky, choppy, unclear sentences. Big no-no in English. Instead of trying to include a bunch of complex ideas and have these complex sentences, if you find you don't do this effectively, continue to experiment so you can practice this skill and effectively have those long complex sentences somewhere down the track. But when it comes to your SACs, try to be as clear as possible on your assessments. That will only benefit you. Being clear is better than attempting to write complex using complex vocabulary in sentences and not doing it effectively. So practice, chances are you can get there. You'll be there when it's year 12. But for your assessments, being mindful, it's better to be clear. A lot of students struggle with this. If that's you, you're not alone. It's not a huge problem, simple to fix. If I'm writing a clunky sentence, I'm not sure if this is clear enough, I'll break it into two sentences. Or I'll remove this additional level of detail that I probably didn't need to include, might not be particularly relevant. And we want to make sure that we have strong vocabulary and meta language imbued in our text and all of our sections. So elevate your vocabulary, research some good words you can use for your essays. We will be looking a lot of that vocabulary and meta language today, but knowing that this is assessed for all of your sections. Argument analysis. We have to showcase our knowledge and understanding of argument. So really understanding contentions, understanding the arguments and points of view imbued in our argument analysis piece, in our assessment. We need to really show that we, at the heart of it, like we understand what the author is trying to say, what their position on an issue is, what their main arguments, so their contention is, and then their sub arguments. Not too different from text response, but it is a pretty different essay. What we need to be able to do, contentions, arguments for everything. Analysis of language and visual features. These are our persuasive language techniques, which I from now will refer to as PLTs to make it a little bit more short and simple for us. So these are persuasive language techniques that the author has employed to create intended effect to contribute to their argument. So we need to be able to closely identify and analyze the language and visual features, meaning we don't just introduce evidence and move on to the next piece of evidence. Every single time we've identified any piece of relevant evidence and a quote, and we've named what the PLT is, we stop and we analyze. We analyze the intended effect and how it contributes to the author's argument. If you can't do that with a piece of evidence, chances are you shouldn't have included it. You should have included something else that's a little bit more important and contributes more to their argument. Never introduce evidence, just describe it and then move on to the next piece of evidence. Analysis in English is key. And also linking language to an author's purpose in a systematic way. The type of language that they're using is very important in your analyzing argument section. Needless to say, think about the connotations associated with the language. Are there appeals? Are there attacks? What is their purpose? And then, of course, control and effectiveness of language use instead are, strong vocabulary here. We want that to be our PLTs. Every single time we introduce any evidence, there is a name attached to that evidence explaining what persuasive language technique it is. Nothing goes unidentified, hopefully.